On the topic of story problems, what I want to do is start by setting most of these up. I may not solve them, just so I have a chance to set more of them up. Okay, so on this first one, we've got some candy. She bought some Tootsie Rolls which cost 10 cents a piece and some Jolly Ranchers which cost 5 cents a piece. So it costs 10 cents. I'm going to use 0.1 or 0.10. Don't really need to write the 0 though. And for 5 cents, I'm going to use 0.05. Okay. Altogether, she bought 21 pieces of candy. How much of each candy did she buy? Okay, so I'm going to need, I can use two different variables right here. Let's use T for Tootsie Rolls and J for Jolly Ranchers. Or if you prefer, we can use X for one and Y for the other. Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying that altogether, she bought 21 pieces. So my first equation would be T plus J, all the Tootsie Rolls plus all the Jolly Ranchers she bought, is 21 pieces. Okay. Then I want to do my money equation. And for my money equation, I got to figure out how much each one is worth. Each one is worth a different amount. And so my Tootsie Rolls are worth 10 cents each. So 0.1 times T is how much each Tootsie Roll is worth. Each Tootsie Roll is worth 10 cents times how many Tootsie Rolls I buy. Plus, each Jolly Rancher is worth a nickel, so 0.05 times J. Altogether, that's going to equal my 135. Okay, so my two equations in this one would be, the first one I've got written down, T plus J equals 21. When I go to use this equation right here, I'm not going to use it with those decimals in there. I'm going to go ahead and multiply it by 100. So that's going to turn this into 10 T plus 5 J equals 135. Okay, just 100 times 0.1, 100 times 0.05, and 100 times 135. And I use 100 because 2 decimal places is the maximum number of decimal places. That's hundredths place. Now I can solve this system right here using either substitution or elimination. I'm going to not solve it right now. I can come back and solve a couple if I have time. Let's make sure we can set up a couple more of these. I'm going to set up the equation for number 22. A plane flies 600 miles with the wind and 500 miles per hour against the wind. Okay, so find the speed of the wind and the speed of the plane. Alright, so when I'm flying with the wind, so I got my little plane, he's going like this, and the wind is blowing and pushing on him, so it's helping his speed. So their speeds are going to combine in this case. Okay, so I need to know a couple of things right here. Let's let our variables in this one be P for plane, the speed of the plane, and W for the speed of the wind. Okay, so in this case, when I'm going 600 miles per hour, we're saying that the wind speed is pushing on the plane speed. So the plane speed plus the wind speed is 600. Okay, now in the other case, 530 miles per hour, that's against the wind. So we've got our plane flying this way, and the wind is pushing against it. Okay, so it's going to slow the plane down a little. And so the speed here, we're going to have the plane speed being slowed down by the wind speed for that net speed of 530. So that's our set of two equations right there. P plus W equals 600 is the first equation, and P minus W equals 530 is the second equation. Again, I'm going to leave that one off, not solve it, but if you ask me, that's a really good setup for elimination, because those are addition method, because those would just eliminate if you added them up. Okay, let's set up the next one. Alright, so we're doing an investment of $16,000. We're investing part of the money at 4% and the rest of the money at 6%. Okay, so I'm going to use just X and Y on this one, but I need to say what X and Y are going to be. Unlike P and W, I can't figure it out just from the letter. So X is going to be the amount we're going to invest at 4%. It's the amount at 4%. And we'll let Y be the amount we're going to invest at 6%. Okay. So, I know that altogether I want to invest $16,000. So my total of x plus y has to equal $16,000. That's my first equation. Easy as that. My next equation, I need to know about interest a little bit. And so my interest, I'm going to have 4% rate for the first account. So I'm going to use 0.04 times x plus all the interest I earn in the y account. So plus 0.06 times y. And these are both interests, so they're going to equal just the total amount of interest, the 760. And I've got my two equations. Again, I want to solve those, and if I solve those, I'm going to multiply by 100 on this equation right here just to make that 4x plus 6y equals 76,000. Alright, before I solve. Hold on. Looks like I have one more down on the bottom of this page. Okay. So this one is another money one. Let me read it real quick. So this one's going to work very similarly to the last one. The only difference I can see is that they did not tell me the amount of interest. Instead, they told me the amount of money I started with and the amount of money I ended with. So if I subtract those, I'm going to get the amount of interest. Okay, so the amount of interest is, if I subtract those, it looks like I get 1320. Alright, so I'm going to set up my equations exactly like I did in number 23 above, except for the fact that my interest value right here is going to be that 1320. Okay. I wasn't told how much interest, but I was told the final amount at the end of the year, so I just take the difference to get how much I earned in interest. Next. Grass seed costs 60 cents per pound, and someone else's grass seed costs 45 cents per pound. How many pounds of each were used to make a 40-pound mixture? Alright, we should be seeing a sort of a pattern right here. I'll use G and A. Okay, this guy will be G, and this guy will be A. Okay, so 40 pounds all together, so I know that I want G plus A to be 40. And G costs 60 cents, so 0.60, or just 0.6 G, plus 0.45 A equals my total, 2025. My money equation, very similar to my interest equation or to my mixture equation. Solve it. Next. Very similar here. I've got cashews, C, peanuts, P. Cashews over 4.50 per pound, peanuts over 2.50 per pound. How much must I mix to get 80 pounds? Well, if I want 80 pounds, the amount of cashews I throw in plus the amount of peanuts I throw in is going to equal 80. Now, those cashews are worth $4.50, so 4.50 or just 4.5. Plus those peanuts are worth $2.50 or 2.5. I'm just rounding off that zero. I mean, not rounding, but I'm dropping it because I don't need a zero at the tail end of a number in an equation. And now, see, that's going to equal a mixture that can sell for $3 per pound. So I've got a little bit different information right here. I don't have how much total, like in this one right here, the mixture that has this total cost of $20.25. Okay. Instead, what I know is my mixture wants to sell for $3 per pound. That's the difference. So it's going to be equal to not just 3, but if $3 per pound, I know how many pounds I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy 80. I was told that right here. I'm going to mix 80. So I'm going to have 3 times 80 on this side. Okay, so it's a slightly different but very, very similar problem. Kind of like the last two where I had the interest and I had a little bit of a twist at the end of it, how to calculate that last bit. Alright. And the last one right here, we're solving the system by method of choice. My method of choice on this one would be substitution because I can see an easy substitution right there, just plugging that in for x. Alright, I would be more than happy to do any of these if you have any further questions on how to do them once they were set up. Let me pick one or two, but if you have another one that you would like me to do, just send me an email about it. I'm going to go back to the beginning, which was, I did that one a lot. Okay, so this one. the Tootsie Rolls and Jolly Ranchers. Okay, so I've already multiplied this one by 100, and now I'm trying to decide if I want to do substitution or elimination. I am going to say, it looks pretty easy to solve for either t or j right here, so I'm going to solve for t, let's say, and then I'm going to use substitution. So t plus j equals 21. Let's subtract j from both sides. So that gives me t equals 21 minus j. Minus j. You got it? Okay. I'm drawing a line right there. Okay, so what I have now is, in this equation, 10t, which is 21 minus j, plus 5j equals 13.5. 10 times 21, 210, minus 10j, plus 5j equals 13.5. Alright, let's see how this turns out. 10j, negative 10j, and 5j gives me negative 5j. My 210 equals my 13.5. Alright, subtract my 210 from both sides. I'm starting to write really small right here. Minus 5j equals 13.5 minus 210, negative 196.5. And we're going to divide both sides by that negative 5. So my j is going to be equal to divided by negative 5. 39.3. Okay. Let's go back and find our t now. We know that t plus j is 21, or actually right here, we know that t is 21 minus j. So t equals 21 minus... That's not going to work. Don't you love it when you get all the way down with the problem and then you see your mistake? Let me fix this. Okay, so I gotta fix it because I noticed that I incorrectly multiplied by 100 up here. When I did my 100 right here, this was supposed to be 135.0. That's 135. That makes a little more sense. Alright, now I'm supposed to be equal to 135 right here. 135, 135. When I take 135 and subtract 210, we're going to get a little better result. 135 minus 210, negative 75. Okay. Now I take negative 75 and divide it by negative 5, and I get 15. So my j value is really 15. Okay, now that makes more sense because my t value is supposed to be 21 minus 15. And 21 minus 15 is 6. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I seem to be making a couple mistakes. I must be a little tired. So I'm going to be happy to make another video if you have another question on one of these.